everyone, I'm back here again today to do another unboxing and first impressions of another guitar company. If you saw one of my previous videos where I did the Donner unboxing and first impressions and demo, I was basically starting a series where I talked about inexpensive guitars that you can buy online on places like Amazon, and I wanted to review them for you so that all of you guys who are beginners and don't know exactly if you want to spend the money on one, guitar brand over the other, hopefully this video helps. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Mirio, which is another guitar brand that you can buy on Amazon.com. So they were kind enough to ship me one of their acoustic guitars, and I wanted to unbox it on camera for you guys and then just talk a little bit about the experience, pros and cons, and whether or not I think that this is a worth it guitar for you. And guys, just a quick disclaimer that even though Mirio did send me this guitar free of charge, we did agree that I was able to give out my honest, complete opinion on this guitar and this brand, so that's what I'll be doing today. So let's go ahead and jump into the unboxing. Alright guys, so first thing is first, let's talk a little bit about the shipping. So I did get this fulfilled through Amazon, and so the shipping was really quick. It took about 2 days to get here. The guitar itself is in this box, and this box came in another bigger box. The bigger box, when I got it delivered to my front door, had like the tape on it was a little bit, undone, so the box was basically open, but that's okay because they did have another box inside. But when I opened the bigger box to reveal this box, I did notice a little bit of damage here on the corner of the guitar. It almost looks like it was like smushed in a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't affect the guitar itself, but just something to point out about the shipping. Alright, so again, this brand is Mirio, and they sell a lot of other different instruments as well, but I wanted to check out their acoustic guitar, so let's go ahead and open it and see what it looks like. Alright guys, as is common with a lot of these beginner kits that you get online, it does come with a little baggie of all of your extras. So a tuner, a capo, a strap, extra strings, a pick guard that you can stick on, things like that. This is very common with a lot of the beginner kits, and it's very similar to a lot of the ones that you would find online. Alright guys, and this guitar does come with a case. It's a pretty standard, I would just say like a gig bag, probably that like kind of sturdier like nylon material. So it seems to do really well. The zippers are okay. There's also this pouch in the front where you can keep all of your goodies, so that's always nice to have. And of course it also has the standard backpack strap so you can put it on your back, as well as this little handle here. So let's go ahead and open this guitar. Alright guys, so here we've got our Allen wrench for the truss rod. Alright, so even though that box was a little bit smushed in the corner, the guitar itself looks like it's unharmed, which is really good. And the packaging seems pretty standard, but also like they put a lot of care into it, because you saw that they had that little bubble wrap thing, and they've also covered the strings here with this paper. Alright guys, so here is the guitar. I had asked for the full-size 41-inch beginner guitar. This is the cutaway version, and it is a dreadnought guitar as well. On first inspection, it looks pretty good, feels pretty solid. The representative did let me know that it was going to come extremely out of tune. He was just letting me know that when they ship it, they don't want the strings to be too tight, which is why it's usually out of tune. So let me go ahead and tune this up, and then we can talk a little bit about the specs. Alright guys, so that did take me a little bit of time to tune the guitar, because this is the same thing that I happened to see in the Donner guitar, if you wanted to watch that review, is that by the time I was done tuning the high E string, the low E string was out of tune again, so I did have to use a screwdriver to tighten up some of these pegs to help them stay in tune, but I think that we're in tune now. But I did just want to point out something. After this was in tune, I was kind of playing around on it a little bit with some chords. And you can hear there's some pretty significant buzzing in there. And I just want to give all of you guys who are beginners a little fair warning that sometimes when you get a guitar straight out of the package and it sounds buzzy like this, it may not be anything that you're doing wrong. So for example, I'm holding a regular E chord, but there's buzzing. So oftentimes that can be attributed to the action being a little bit too low or too high. Luckily, they did give us that Allen wrench that you saw in the unboxing portion. And so I'm going to use that to try to adjust the truss rod real quick. Alright guys, so again that took me a few minutes to figure out with the truss rod and everything, but it did seem to do the trick. So you heard earlier there's a little bit of buzzing going on, and I noticed it was more towards the bottom frets here, and it's just because the strings were too close to the frets. And so we adjusted the truss rod. It should be good to go now. It sounds pretty clear. a lot better than it did earlier. So just as a note to anyone out there who's maybe buying something online and is a beginner, a more budget guitar such as this one may need a little bit of TLC before you get it, ready to play. So for instance, adjusting the truss rod really made a huge difference in the buzzing sounds. So just something to keep in mind. Let me know if you want me to do a video on how to adjust that and everything like that. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the specs of this guitar. Alright guys, so like I said earlier, this is the 41-inch full-size beginner guitar that they sell on their site. It's a cutaway also, so that just means that there's a little bit of cut right here in the body so you can get higher on the fret. The top is spruce and the back and sides are mahogany. The fretboard, I think, is a little bit strange to me because it does seem like it's made to look like an ebony fretboard, but if you look really closely, and I'll try to get a zoom in on this, it almost looks like just a painted wood. So I'm not sure what type of wood the neck and fretboard are made of, but for a budget guitar, it plays pretty well. So the tuners and the tuning pegs are your standard chrome that come on most acoustic guitars, especially at this price point. And the bridge and the nut here, you can tell, are more of a plastic material, and actually the nut here on this end of the guitar, it was a little bit cut kind of short here on the bottom to the E and the B string, and I think that that's what was causing a lot of the buzzing early on. So if you were to receive a guitar like this, you may want to take it into somewhere like a guitar center and see if they can take a look at it while they're setting it up. I don't know how much it costs. It may be worth more than the guitar itself, so something to your discretion, but it does seem like it would help the guitar itself play better. Again, it does have the truss rod available to be adjusted, which was really helpful in this case because I was able to get rid of some of that buzzing, so that's always good to see. And then the fret markers are here, again, standard as any guitar, so that you can know where to place your fingers while you're playing. So overall, I'd say that this guitar is pretty standard. I wouldn't say there's anything remarkable about it, but for the price point, this was $80 on Amazon. So for the price point, you know that you're getting a budget guitar, and I would say with a little bit of TLC, such as adjusting the truss rod, making sure those strings are in tune, probably even just changing out the strings. I do think it's a pretty good guitar for a very, very basic beginner person, maybe like a kid or somebody who you're not sure is going to stick with guitar for a while. This would be, $80 is pretty well spent. One other thing is, upon closer inspection, you can actually see that these frets, these metal frets here, they are a little bit more sharp around the edges, but that's something that you can easily just sand down with the right materials. So just something to be careful about. It doesn't really affect the playability of the guitar. It's just more of like comfort around your hand and things like that. All right guys, so now that we've kind of dived into the specs a little bit, let's go ahead and play a few things on the guitar and see what it sounds like. Awesome, it's got some nice sustain. Let's try some finger picking. Alright guys, so as you could hear, it plays pretty well with a little bit of TLC at the beginning and taking care of it. So I would say that the sound is pretty good. I think if you were to replace the strings with a higher quality string, it might sound even better. But I say that with all of my, budget guitar reviews and things like that. So let's go ahead and jump into, final thoughts, closing statements, first impressions. All right, so first of all, let's talk about the shipping and the process. Like, I did see that Mirio, I think, exclusively sells on Amazon. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's all that I could find as far as a store for them. So if you are getting this on Amazon, it should be fulfilled through Amazon. So you'll get this relatively quickly, hopefully, like I did. It only took 2 days to get to me. The shipping could have been better. You know, there was that damage to the outside box, and then the bigger outside box was open when I got it. So I'm not sure if that's something that was an Amazon thing or a Mirio thing, but either way, it was a little concerning, but I'm glad to see that the actual guitar came intact and was really, you know, good to go. It does come with everything you need if you're a beginner, as far as like all the extras like the capos and the strings and all of that stuff. So that's always nice to see that they have everything included. The funny thing about this guitar is that if you look at their kind of description, product description, they do say that they intentionally have the action really low on these guitars, specifically for beginner players. So if you're not familiar, action is just the distance between the strings and the frets. And typically the higher it is, the harder you have to press down, so the more it hurts your fingers. This company did come with a low action specifically to avoid that, but what I found in this guitar was that it did cause a lot more buzzing. So I actually had to end up using my Allen wrench to adjust the truss rod so that there was more space. I basically put the action back in it, and that's what, you know, removed the buzzing. So something just to keep in mind if you're going specifically for this brand of guitar. Now, if you are brand new and you wouldn't really know how to tune a guitar or adjust the truss rod or anything like that, that is something that you could always take into a guitar shop like Guitar Center and, you know, ask for a setup, and they would set all that stuff up for you. The problem is it is a little bit pricey depending on where you live, how much a setup could be, and how much work that the guitar would need. So I would say for the budget price of $80 for the entire set, you know, it's kind of up to your discretion whether or not you want to spend another $40 or $50 to get it set up. If that were the case, your total would be closer to about $130 to $150, in which case I would say there are other brands that you could buy online and try out as well. So quality-wise, the guitar is pretty sturdy. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, and it feels very, you know, nicely put together. I just think that it was a little bit more inexpensively put together, and you can tell the quality with things like, you know, the nut being a little bit too low, the strings being buzzy upon first arrival, things like that. But again, if you are somebody who's looking just to see if maybe you want to dabble in guitar and you don't want to spend a lot of money, this could be a good option for you. As far as the size goes, I feel like it's a really pretty good fit for someone my size, you know, of my body type and things like that. I have played on guitars that are significantly wider and, you know, thicker and things like that, so it is a little harder to play. So depending on who you are and what you're looking for, this again could be a good option for you. So yeah, that's just kind of my first impressions, kind of final thoughts on this unboxing and my first impression demo. Again, it's a budget guitar. You kind of get what you pay for, and you get what you expect from an $80 guitar. But again, you know, I would recommend it if you're not looking to spend that much money. However, with the care that you would have to take with it when you first get it to make it more playable, you know, that might drive up the cost a little more, to the point where you might want to just look at a different brand. So, you know, that was my review. I hope that it helped you. You know, obviously sound quality wise, it sounds pretty good with the strings that it came on. Obviously it could sound even better with new strings. So it sounds like a great guitar. There's just a little bit that I would change about it, and a little bit that I would be slightly concerned about. So yeah, I hope that this helped. And again, this is the Mirio brand. You can get it on Amazon really inexpensively. And if you want me to do more, you know, first impression reviews of other inexpensive guitar brands on Amazon, then let me know what those are in the comments below, and I will try to get those to you. But yeah, this was overall a pretty good guitar, so thanks for watching. Bye.